Alrighty, let's talk about GLP-1s in my current status. And I will share where I'm at weight loss wise. The other item I want to share is my struggles with paying for the GLP-1 medication and then also getting approval to get the doses increased. I will go over all of that. This is my current struggles that I'm facing right now. Anyway, welcome to my channel, Only Shannon Knows. So I started my weight loss journey. I was 239 when I started. I definitely struggle with binge eating, with eating emotionally, and also just using food to actually get rid of my anxiety. I shouldn't even say anxiety, but emotional well-being. My husband was a chronic alcoholic. He passed away they found his body in March of 2024, actually about 10 days after I started the medications. But during that time, during his relapse, over time, I gained about 80 pounds. I'm definitely an emotional eater. And with that being said, I tried multiple things and nothing was working. So I tried to do Weight Watchers, and then I would allow myself to go back and just start eating anything and everything. I tried Beachbody, which both programs, I will say this, Weight Watchers and Beachbody, both programs, I lost weight a while ago, meaning in 2008, I was on Weight Watchers and I lost about 70 pounds. Actually, it was 2007, 2008, I was laid off, and then I started working 3 jobs, and then all the weight came back. So then after I got married, or right before I got married in 2017, I needed to, and I should say this, prior to getting married, I needed to lose about 20 additional pounds, and I did do Beachbody, the 21-day fix program. Now, prior to that, when I had moved back to where I was born, and when I did that, I think my highest weight was 213. So then what I did is I just started tracking all of my calories through my FitnessPal. I stopped drinking and I started tracking all of my calories through my FitnessPal. So that's really what I did. And then I still had an extra, I stopped tracking my calories. And what happened is I started gaining some of that weight back. I got down to, I think it was 165. I can't remember, to be honest with everybody, but I did get down to about 165. And then that's when I started really not doing good with my food tracking, and I started gaining the weight back. And so then I did the 21-day fix program to lose the weight before my wedding, and it worked great. That being said, then after all of my late husband's relapses, I just spiraled completely out of control. There were 2 pregnancies. And then after my daughter was born, he relapsed. When I met him, sorry, I have to turn my car on. I'm getting a little toasty in here. When I met him, he was 6.5 years sober. I knew he was a recovering alcoholic, but I had no idea how bad his alcoholism was. And so that being said, I also am a victim of domestic abuse from him when he was drinking. So there's a lot of emotional, I'm saying this, and if you are struggling with any of those things, with having somebody who's addicted, who struggles with addiction, etc. If you are, I am currently a single mom, obviously, because my husband passed away. I had to get an order of protection, victim of domestic abuse, moved multiple times, sole income provider, etc. So if you have any of those struggles, go to my channel, Only Shannon Knows. Go to that channel, definitely subscribe. Go check out my playlist, because I have a playlist that does go through the addiction, but then also goes through how I'm surviving as a single mom, solo parent, completely solo parenting. So anyway, getting back to GLP-1. With all of this being said, with all this being said, I started the GLP-1 journey. My friend had done Wegovy, and she had huge success on it, and really basically was telling me she thought that some of the news that was out there about the medication wasn't really true. Not that it wasn't true, but that it was a little blown out of proportion. So like the issues with muscle loss, etc. Anyway, what I did, I talked to her, and I'm thinking, I don't know what else to do. And why not try it? So I went to the doctor to ask the doctor about it, my doctor about it, and she recommended a couple of other medications, but they really would have increased anxiety. So it's not zepbound, I can't remember what they are, but they were the same thing, used off label, but insurance would have covered it. And I wasn't as comfortable with those because I wasn't familiar with them, and I was really familiar with zepbound. So I went ahead and I did zepbound. She said it's really hard to get insurance to approve it. And the company I work for, they at the time did not approve weight loss medication. So I had to pay out of pocket. Now, little side note here. If you're currently or have been paying out of pocket and you're wondering how to not pay out of pocket, stay tuned till the end and I'll go over how I was able to I do not pay out of pocket anymore. I pay $30 a month, which is really nice. So stay tuned till the end. I'll give you some tips on that. But anyway, I did have to pay the $550. And I just thought, I'm just going to try it. And so I tried it, and it turned out, it was night and day. I felt like I had a clear head. I felt like I was able to function. I felt like I was able to focus, and it just completely changed how I looked at food. Honestly, I felt as though I could eat how people normally eat, which was amazing. And so I just thought, wow, this medication, I love it. But then there's the large cost involved. And I tried to go the route of getting it approved through my insurance, and I did not. And I worked hard I worked out. So 6 days a week, I worked out for 30 minutes. So either I did the bike, or I did beach body workouts, or I also started running. I got a treadmill and I did start running. And so I started doing those. On the weekends, I typically went to the gym, and that's where I did some of the weightlifting. So one of the things with GLP-1s is you want to make sure also, in general, you want to make sure as you're losing weight, you need to protect your muscles and your bones, and you want to lift. And in general, you should just lift weight anyway. So I did start lifting on a consistent basis. I was measuring all of my food intake as well, measuring and tracking all of my food. Wow, I look really weird with half an eyebrow. Anyway, I was measuring all of my food and tracking everything through Weight Watchers. So that being said, though, that's where I lost a huge amount of my weight. I was very diligent. I was so concerned about the side effects that I heard about, and my friend had told me. She said, make sure that you are eating fruits and vegetables. You just want to make sure you don't get backed up. I don't want to talk gross about it, but she ended up in the hospital because she had not used the restroom for a couple of days. And so with that being, oh, and the nausea. She also said with the nausea too. And I hate being nauseous. So I really took her advice and started doing that. Now, I will say recently, I've realized, my body has realized that I don't get all of those really bad side effects anymore, which is why I eat. And it is a choice, right? It's a choice that I'm making. I cave into my cravings, my sugar cravings, my any food cravings. I've just really been caving into it, and I don't like it. I can't stand it, and I don't know why. I do, but I don't. Anyway, doesn't matter. But caving into those cravings, and then also that combined with the fact we moved to Tennessee in December. We were out of the house. Our furniture didn't get here right away. I wasn't working out, so it took us a couple weeks to get into our actual house. And then after that, I was working out, like doing my running, but not as much. I feel like I lost my way. I don't know. And then I've just been really busy. Honestly, I've been really busy with work. Also with the move, I did switch over to a new team, and I do have my own team. And I just have been prioritizing work. But then also when I'm not working, I've just thought, oh, I just want to watch a show. I just want to unwind, which is not healthy either. And in all reality, what should I do? I should run and watch a show. That's what I used to do, is run and then watch a show. And then on the weekends, I would go to the gym, which was right next to the kids' ninja and gymnastics class in Arizona. So I would go to the gym right there and go work out. It was easy. Here, the gym isn't as close. No excuse. So I really just, in all reality, I just lost my way. And I need to get back at it. And I have another video that I already posted that I said, I promise I'm going to do this. And I really have not been very good at tracking. I said, I promise I'm going to track. I've not been good at tracking ever since I made that video. I did for the first 4 or 5 days, and then I lost my way again. I just need to be good with tracking. Now, I will say, the other thing is I've not been getting a ton of sleep, and so I have the Oura Ring, and it says that my resting heart rate is up, and it's been up, and I need to do something about it. And it said I need to get more sleep, bottom line. So I don't know. I also was I've been out of it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's because I've been sharing like my husband's or late husband's journey and my journey. I don't know if it's that. And so that's why I'm experiencing this, like my sleep quality isn't as good, because I will say I am getting some nightmares. So I don't know. That could be it. I have no idea. But bottom line is I have not been doing good, and the food noise is there. And I talked to my doctor. So this is where I'm going to get into how I pay $30 a month and not I think it's $6.50 now. I talked to my doctor or the insurance company. And the problem I had, so it's not that insurance won't cover it. That's not the issue. It's the issue is that your company or whoever is your insurance holder, like whoever pays for your insurance, whatever it is, that company does not support weight loss programs, medications, etc. So I thought it was insurance wise, and it's not. It goes by what the business decides they are going to cover. So that being said, they did change their coverage starting in January of this year, that they would start covering the medication if you had comorbidities. And so I have high blood pressure. I was pre-diabetic, I'm not anymore. And then I have high cholesterol. So with those 3 things, I was able to get the medication covered. However, this is the tricky part. I initially sent him for the medication from my current doctor, primary care doctor, and insurance rejected it. Then I found out I had to actually get somebody who was a weight loss, I shouldn't say coach, they're certified in weight loss. There were 3 different things. Certified in weight loss, they had to be an MD, not an MP, and they had to have a DO. And with that being said, I was able to sign up for 9 a.m. health, and that was provided and that my insurance does pay for. And through that process, I was able to get the medication paid for immediately without going through the hassle of getting a prior authorization, a PA. Anyway, the issue, or the struggle, I should say, is that 9 a.m. health is terrible. I shouldn't say terrible in a sense of, I think the overall idea is fantastic. There are weekly modules that you have to actually work through and do, and I do believe that it's beneficial. However, when I put in and ask for a script, so they only do it once a month, and you have to weigh in and weigh on a scale that digitally connects to 9 a.m. health. And so when I ask for a script, they will ask me a lot of questions, which again is normal. You know, what has changed? Why is your weight up, etc. I covered that during I had an online coaching session. I covered all of that during the coaching session. Why am I being asked that again? And then they also said, do you think it's time to tear down? I said, I already covered that during my coaching session. Read the notes before you send a message. I'm not going to reiterate and type it out. Honestly, this is a typing out thing. My coaching session is where I'm talking. I'm not going to sit on an app and type out what I already went over with my coach, because there are additional benefits with GLP-1s, like reducing brain fog, reducing anxiety. It has been phenomenal. Now, is it the GLP-1s or the actual working out and eating healthy? Couldn't really tell you. All I know is I was still eating healthy and working out, and I tried to stop the GLP-1s and I had a panic attack. So that's the information I have personal from firsthand. So then they didn't say anything, and they just said, oh, your refill's ready to be picked up. Okay. Then I sent them a message and I said, I'm really concerned. I've been struggling. My weight is up. So I mentioned this to them a month ago, maybe. My weight has been up. I'm very concerned. My food noise is back. I think I need to go up in a dose. And they said, you're at a normal weight. We don't think that you need to go up in a dose because you are within the normal weight range. I get I'm in the normal weight range. So wait, you want me to go out of the normal weight range in order to get a higher dose? I'm explaining to you that I'm trending upwards, and yet you still think I should stay at my current dose. How does that even make sense? Anyway, so I just thought, fine, I'll just white knuckle it and I'll keep doing what I'm doing. And then I told myself, okay, this week I'll do it. This week I'll do it. This week I'll be good. This week I'll be good. I'll work out. I'll do, I'm good for 3 days, and then the medication starts wearing off, and then I'm not good again. And so I asked again after this refill. I didn't pick up the refill yet, but I said, so I'm on 10, and I asked if I can go up to 12.5. So I asked this 3 days ago. Can I go up to 12.5? The food noise is back. My current weight is updated. I've been asking for this, and I'm very concerned. And then the response back was, yes, let me get this over to a physician. I do see your weight is trending up. And then they asked me, have you refilled the current dosage? And I said, no, I haven't. Nothing. Like crickets. And I need to take my medication in 2 days. Crickets. So I sent them a follow-up message. But it is just ridiculous. And I'm wondering if I go directly with my current doctor, like with my regular. So if I use One Medical for my PCP, and they are fantastic. I never have these issues at all. So I don't know if I go back to One Medical, if it will actually get approved, because I've already been approved on the GLP-1. I have no idea. Anyway, those are my struggles. Now, let me get to what I promised I was going to tell you. With regards to getting the medication approved, as I mentioned earlier, my company does pay for weight loss treatment now with comorbidities, is what they call them. Oh, that sounds terrible. Anyway, so I am able to go ahead and get the medication approved. However, there are still ways to get it approved if you can't get it approved through your company. So, number one, you can appeal. You would write a statement. You would write every single benefit that the medication has provided for you. And then what you would do is you would go ahead and submit that, and then make sure that your doctor has the same comments and submit that as well. First thing. Second thing that you can do as well. And then if it's denied again, then you can again appeal. So I think you get 3 appeals, if I'm correct. 2, 3 appeals. Anyway, so then you can do that. Now, in the meantime, the other item that you can do, which I did not know of. Sorry, I have to do eyelids. I have to get my lips done, sorry. The other thing I was not aware of, because with my company, so when they were not paying for weight loss medication, I looked up the policy and I looked to see what they did cover. So was there anything somehow that they could cover that would get me the medication? And what I noticed is that they cover gender transformation surgery. So I don't have a problem with them covering that. They cover that. Okay. If somebody wants to if I want to turn into a man, they will cover surgery for me to turn into a man. The thing is that you will cover gender transformation surgery, but you won't cover anything that supports weight loss. That's what I don't get. So it just did not make sense to me. I know that things are different, but it still is with regards to like your body, your health, your mental health, and who you are. And if I'm a woman and I decide to stay a woman and I want to become a man, if I'm a woman and I want to become a man, but there's not money to pay for it, yes, there are mental health issues. I don't know the statistics on it, But I know that there are discussions about mental health issues with regards to it. But I don't know what medically, what issues that there are with your body. But with obesity and with, I do believe that there will be that there are food addicts, and I believe I am one of them. But with that being said, you're paying for medications. So wouldn't you want us to be healthy? Anyway, total side note on that. Bottom line, what I did do is I called my HR office and I asked them questions about the insurance, specifically regarding, I said, you will pay for me to become a man, but you won't help me lose the weight that I have. And they said, well, you can actually appeal it internally with us. So I was starting that process of appealing it internally. Better make sure I have my glasses out. Sorry, I'm very blind. I was starting that process when I heard that the company was going to start paying for weight loss support, or including it in insurance, the next year. And because I think that was September, October, November, I can't remember when I found it out. I just thought, I'm gonna wait. I started writing everything up, and then I was moving, and I just thought, I'll just wait. That is another option. I know that there are some people who have gotten that approved. I know others who have gone that route and gotten things approved as well, and not approved. That being said, if you don't get it approved, and I know it really stinks, you can get the vials are a little bit less. So you can get the vials. I know it does not go up in all the doses. I don't think it does. You can get the vials. I know it stinks. Compounds are no longer, I know trizepatide is no longer, and I'm pretty sure semaglutide is not too far behind it because the shortage is not there. I do know Lilly is coming out. They did do a study on the weight loss pills, which has proven to be extremely successful. I don't know when those are dropping, maybe in 2026, I don't know, but the pill form, I believe, will be a lot less. That being said, unfortunately, if you do have to pay out of pocket, it really stinks, especially like I'm a single mom, I work full time to provide for the kids, and it is very difficult. Now, what I did do is I did donate plasma. 1 month I got, I think, $450 donating plasma. So it almost paid for my medication. So you can donate plasma. It's a pain, but you're also giving back to the community, but you can do that. I was going to start doing like Instacart shopping. The issue I have, or being an Instacart shopper, the issue I have with that is being a single mom. I'm always with my kids, so that doesn't really work. But you have that option. I guess I should say what it is, that there are side hustles that you can do that will help support and get you the other extra medication. I don't know anything else. Unfortunately, it really stinks. I'm hoping eventually these medications will get approved because they are so beneficial. Oprah did a fantastic discussion on weight loss and her experience with GLP-1s. I forget what it's called. If I find it on YouTube, I will link it at the end of this video, or I'll link it, actually, I'll find the link and I'll link it in the comments. So just double check the comments and I'll put it in there. But it was a I have a meeting coming in. Anyway, it was a very good discussion about GLP-1s. That's actually really the nail, or not the nail. I have not had coffee yet. It's really the one thing that really pushed me forward to start GLP-1s. And not because it's Oprah, it's because of the doctors and the people that were on there and how they discussed how the struggle with weight and obesity and just food addiction in general. I think it's something that people haven't talked about. And she did say on there, she said, I talked about alcoholism before it was even considered an addiction. And now I have a husband who passed away from alcoholism. So I think it will come out. She does too. But anyway, I'll put that link in the comments, and then I will update everybody more. Part 2 is coming with regards to if they move me up a dose. I need to figure out what to do because it is extremely difficult right now. I feel like I'm having so much anxiety with getting the medication that it's not worth it, but it is worth it. So anyway, all right, everyone, have a fantastic day.